Welcome to We, the 98ers. More on that name for people that don't know. Coming in a second. I am Shooter. The stash is MIA. He's going to probably be jumping on here any second. I have Mr. Mark Romano right next to me. He is our in-house Yankees correspondent. Can we call you that?
Sure. Sounds good to me.
And we have Thomas Schooley. We call him the professor. He's going to take us to class this evening. And like I said, the stash is hopefully joining us soon. But we watched a baseball game tonight. A long one, boys. A long one. I felt like this game dragged on forever. I thought we weren't starting till 1 at the earliest. But we saw our Tampa Bay Rays win 7-5 over the evil New York Yankees. And I thought it, besides dragging on quite a bit, pretty entertaining game. We saw 4 jacks by the Rays. We'll do a little breakdown of the scoring here, but let's get your thoughts on the game from the Yankees perspective first.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this a little bit last night, that we thought that the Rays were going to come out and be a much better team tonight and than they were last night. And they proved to be. Trying to understand what the whole point of starting Davy Garcia was for 1 inning. I guess the theory is that you can trick them by throwing the right-hander in the first inning and then bringing the lefty on to face the left-handed lineup the rest of the way. Obviously, that didn't work. Backfired pretty badly. J-Hap was not good tonight. And
what happened? What happened? They tried to use a little bit of the Rays' own medicine on the Rays.
They got too cute, man. They got too cute for sure. Just stick with what you do best and just go with that. So didn't really understand that. Then you get down 5-1, and you're trying to claw back the rest of the way. Stanton had a moonshot home run. I mean, good Lord, that was, I think, 458 feet was the distance that they measured it at.
It's actually still traveling.
That's it.
It landed in the Gulf of Mexico.
That's it. And then we had a chance, and the Yankees are first and second, nobody out. And they can't push any runs across in the 7th inning, and just kind of missed opportunities for the Yankees tonight. But, the Rays came out, got on them early, and held on. So we have a series now, which we knew we would anyways. We knew it was going to go probably 4 or 5, and to me, it's definitely going to happen. So
it's a 3-game series now. Thomas, what did you think of the game tonight?
To me, I thought for the Rays, their best players didn't even really hit tonight. I mean, you had Lau, who had been coming on hitting, but he hasn't hit in this series. Choi really didn't do much in this. You had Kiermaier show up there for a minute. The Yankees, I mean, if you can control Stanton, which we can't, so you just need to walk them every game. And the Judge, you have a pretty good chance of beating them.
Yeah, and they handled one of those two guys fairly well. Judge was what, 0 for 5.
0 for 5, struck out 3 times. Yeah,
some big strikeouts. Yeah, and the Rays kind of pitchers was back. The bats were back. Arozarena led off that first inning with that home run. Did you think, Romano? Did you think that home run got the Yankees a little bit worried, or do you think it was from the get-go that was the plan? We're going to trick the Rays with a little gamesmanship and kind of have a starting pitcher.
I think they tried to do that, but it just didn't work. It just backfired on it. If that was their intention. Otherwise, I don't know why they would have done it. Why the hell would they have started him and have him pitch 1 inning? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, really, on any level. If they were going to do that, they should have just started half to begin with. But I think that set the tone. The early run, much like the Yankees did yesterday, I think the Rays set the tone. And then once they got out early, it was like, they were in control of the game for most of the way. But one stat that pops out at me, and we mentioned this earlier, is, out of the Yankees' 27 outs tonight, 18 of them were strikeouts. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to win too many games doing that. You got to move runners along. You've got to put pressure on a defense. And when you're just constantly striking out, that just doesn't do much for you. It doesn't help.
But that's how Tampa had the advantage over. That's how we beat them all season. Was those strikeouts, and that's how they got the name the 98ers Club, is because of those fast pitches that all of our starters can do, is all over 98 or above.
Yeah, I mean, how good was Anderson tonight? I mean, Anderson was the guy that came in and just shut the door, really.
Yep.
2 innings, 4 strikeouts. He was awesome.
Yeah, and let me stop there just to explain. I know we've kind of invited some hardcore Rays fans, but for the casual fans that don't know kind of the reference, where we give our shows a little cute name here at the Shooter in the Stash Network. But we did a post-game show called We the Thunder, which led the Lightning to win the Stanley Cup. We take full credit. We I think each get a day with the cup, Romano not included. We're still waiting for our returned letter from the Lightning there with that request. We're going to be waiting a while. But no, we did it for the Lightning's playoff. We were having so much fun, and the Rays playoff started right afterwards. So we said, hey, let's keep it going. We love Tampa Bay sports, so we're going to continue to do these kind of post-game podcasts / shows. And anyone that participates, for all the new viewers, you participate in the show, we do our 3 stars of the chat towards the end, and we'll give you a shout out. And I will put a line, it's actually a link in the chat after I stop talking, and you can come join the show and give your take on tonight's game. But going back to what I was starting with about the name, the 98ers, kind of a play off We the Thunder, but this is basically the 2020 Rays version of that. And for anyone that doesn't know where that came from, it came from Kevin Cash's now infamous quote after one of the Yankees games earlier this season. A lot of you guys will remember that game because it was pretty newsworthy, with Chapman trying to take someone's head off there. Romano, we don't like that. You got this quote here. I know it's kind of tough to see, but the last thing I'll say, and this is from Kevin Cash, Rays manager, the last thing I'll say on it is I've got a whole damn stable full of guys that throw 98 miles an hour, period. So then you saw Blake Snell come out with the stable shirt, and then somebody's putting out, where is it? The hats too. We don't put them out, but the 98ers, the Tampa Bay 98ers hat, I got to get one for myself. So that's kind of where the name comes from. And if you have not tuned into any of our Shooter in the Stash ridiculous videos, post-game shows, podcasts, all the BS we do, welcome. Hit that follow button. You won't be disappointed, or you might be. But anyway, let's break down the game. So we kind of talked a little bit about what had happened. Let's kind of go
real quick. Let's do that. It's Ace Down who does the 98ers hats. So anybody interested in one, it's Ace Down is the website that does it.
Yeah, I thought I had it pulled up on my Twitter, but I posted that we're streaming instead. So I'll pull that up. I'll get it pulled up later. And they're really sweet looking hats. So I got to get one myself. But First inning, it was the original matchup. Who was pitching tonight? Glasgow looked pretty good. And who was the kid that played the 3 outs for the Yankees?
Davy Garcia.
Davy Garcia looked okay until they had 2 outs and they got the hottest Ray in San Diego, Rosarina. I call him Randy. He's got an interesting mix of names. Randy Rosarina.
Yes.
Rosarina. Homered, another home run, another great game for him. He was what? 2 for 4, 1 run, 1 RBI. He's been on fire all playoffs. Puts the Rays up right away, 1-0. Then you see in the second inning, Stanton go yard. This was not his monster. That happened later. Made it 1-1. Bottom of the second, you saw the Rays come back and have that 2-run homer by the catcher. That made it 3-1. And then Margot with another 2-run homer made it 5-1. It was starting to get out of hand. There were a couple chances. KK was up because they still had guys on that inning with only 1 out. And KK got out, and I forget whoever was after KK struck out, or I think he also struck out. So that inning ended. The Rays could have put a couple more runs on the board, but didn't pull through, and it came back to bite them. The top of the 4th, that was the Stanton 3-run jack, and like I said, that ball might be in orbit. Didn't make it to Tampa. It just took off to space. 5th inning, that's when Kiermaier had that RBI single. Meadows. By the way, Meadows, nice comeback with that home run to center, a huge home run to make it 7-4. And then not much after that. You saw the Yankees just a couple minutes ago get that extra run to make it 7-5. And then you saw Fairbanks pull it out. He looked a little rocky at the start of that save, but he kind of straightened it all out towards the end, and the Rays come home, or at least go home into their San Diego hotels winners tonight. It's a 3-game series now, tied 1-1. What'd you guys what was the key to the game for the Rays? Was it their pitching performance? Was it the bats waking up? Was it their stylish masks that they wear, that Kevin Cash wears, the medical grade masks? Tell me.
Good, Mark.
I think it was jumping out early. I think they got the momentum early on. They got all over the Yankees early, and 5-1, like we talked about, and I think that was key. Glasgow pitched well. I mean, he didn't pitch, lights out, but he pitched pretty darn well. And I think it was getting a lead, and once they did that, it was off to the races for them. So it was important for them, especially after losing last night, to get out early, get the lead, and build some confidence. So I think that was probably the biggest part of it.
I thought it was getting after Garcia. I thought had the Rays went down in that inning with the games that was being played, that it would have gave them a little butt hurtness, and it would have gave the Yankees a little more pep in their step. But I think getting at Garcia and playing that game actually set the tone. And then we talked before we went live. The umpire in this was horrible. Buckner, for both sides, whether you're a Yankee fan or a Rays fan, Buckner was the worst there officiating. I've seen it all over Twitter from Rays fans and Yankees fans. So I think that was it. But then I thought the home run towards the Margot's home run, I thought that set the tone too. It looked like it started getting the Yankees a little rattled. And the Rays seem to be hitting more then and seeing more pitches.
Is this quote here true, Mark, from Amy? Boone did the same thing he bitched about prior seasons with the opener strategy. Was he one of the coaches that was criticizing the Rays when they kind of started this?
That may have been correct. Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
The irony of it all. Romano.
Well, the funny thing is the Yankees were doing this last year also. I mean, they were doing opener. Chad Green started, I don't know how many games as an opener. So, we were talking earlier about like the shift. Madden employed the shift, and now everybody does the shift. It's kind of the same thing with the opener. I mean, everybody's doing that now. So the Rays, once again, pioneers in certain parts of baseball. So I don't know. Listen, if it works for you, it's cool. I mean, I don't know. It obviously didn't work for the Yankees tonight. Whatever they were trying to do, it didn't work.
Well, I think they were saying on TV they were trying to get the Rays to their lineup different by going with that. But Cash called him out on it. It was like, here you go. And then he was trying to make him use his DHs earlier. And Cash was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, at a certain point, put out your best players and let them play the game. And
exactly.
This is the playoffs now. This isn't some meaningless game in May. We try to, whatever. Just let I was surprised that they didn't pitch Tanaka, quite honestly, in game 2. I thought that he'd be the game 2 starter for sure. And, now you're tied up and we'll see what happens. But, didn't like the move at all. Didn't really understand the strategy there.
Yeah, as much as this might be a COVID season and a short season, the playoffs is not where you want to do trial and error because it will shoot you. And this comment from Amy Moore, you need a defibrillator. This is for any Tampa sports. I mean, look at the Lightning games, look at last week's Bucks games, and then look at the Rays games. Any Tampa sport, you need a defibrillator for.
They just can't make it easy. Like,
never.
Can't go 14-1 on the Yankees. That is 100% the truth. What did you guys think of the starting lineups? I don't think really much changed. I took some screenshots. I try to take screenshots for any new listeners because I do usually sit here at my desk and watch these games. So I try to grab some good screens from the broadcast. Always get some good ones. Baseball still adjusting to grabbing the good screenshots. But you got the lineups here. Yankees didn't really change anything, did they?
No, just the catcher. That was it. Just Sanchez. He was the only change, batting ninth. And, he's just been very, very inconsistent, to say the least. I think he hit 120 this year. He struck out pretty much every other at bat, hit a couple home runs. But, they had the only reason why they had him in there. Well, they didn't have him there last night because Cole pitched. But, it's amazing how far he's fallen. I mean, this was a guy that was a middle of the order bat, and now he's batting ninth and hitting in the 120s. So it's interesting.
Yeah. It's crazy what happens when you stop cheating. No, wait, I don't know. The Yankees were never
that's completely unfounded.
Well, look at KK for the Rays. He's moved down. He's moved down in the lineup considerably, and a .091 batting average. I mean,
ugly. I was really happy when we saw Meadows hit that home run.
Yeah,
because he's been injured. He hasn't really played that much this season. When he has, he really kind of hasn't hit his stride. So if Meadows can really start to heat up right now, that is really going to help the Rays with this lineup. It's just going to look dangerous all the way up and down. Well, until you get to Kiermaier. I'm about to get blocked by Kevin Kiermaier.
You're being awfully tough on him tonight.
Glasgow, though. Wow, look at the paws. Look at the paws on him. He's like, that's what it looks like when the stash is holding a golf ball. And I can only say that because I'm getting notification that the stash is out. Apparently the watch party, little bit of a disaster. We'll get a full report next show.
What happened?
I don't know. I have no idea what happened, but
we can't throw it to him live on location and get a report.
I told him if he's driving home, go just fire it up on the phone. Which, by the way, that reminds me, let's get some of you guys, the other 98ers, on the show. I'm gonna put in the chat. I see that.
Let Jesse in.
I see that. I know these Lightning fans are very confused because they're in this trance of every other day seeing us live after games. No, we've moved on. We're going to go help the Rays win a championship now.
But this picture you have with Tyler real quick, this was what Houston was saying he was tipping last year, was that he was tipping his pitches. And so it's kind of funny that they have this with his different grips.
Yeah, but you see the grip, right?
Yes, and with him, no. With him, I thought it was very hard to see anything because he kept that glove up to his face almost 3/4 of the time before. But that was the thing last year, was Houston said that they were able to read his pitches. He was tipping his pitches. So
Yeah.
Well, Houston has a knack for reading.
yeah.
Good Lord.
Two drum hits, 3 drum hits.
That's it.
But all right, we have our first ever We the 98ers caller, and from his car, by the way. Where's the stash when you need him? Let's back out of our pictures here and let's get Chris on. Chris, please drive safely. We don't need any live wrecks on the show here.
Hey, man.
Did you get to watch the game?
Yeah, I got to watch the game.
Getting pulled over?
Yeah, he's getting pulled over.
Are you getting pulled over?
Hold on.
Oh,
Hey.
I'm not getting pulled over.
Well, he's not 100%.
Hopefully.
Sure.
Hopefully not.
I see.
I got credentials though, so.
There's definitely police activity going
We're
on.
leaving the camera on if you think you're getting out of that ticket. All right, so tell us, you saw some of the game, hopefully.
Yeah, man. I mean, it started out with the bang. I've been on the Randy Rosarina drum all year. I wanted to get him more playing time. Earlier in the year, when Renfroe was really kind of not doing a whole lot. He just has speed. He's got a good bat. His defense is okay, but it's not the best. But over these past few games he's played, he's done really well with defense. So I think he's getting better there. Glasnow did fine. I mean, he just had some bad pitches to Stanton. You can't leave him over the plate like that. Nick Anderson, when he faced him, just went all outside, and that's what you got to do to Stanton. You have to pitch outside to him. You can't leave anything over the plate or inside, or he'll shoot. But overall, I mean, other than Fairbanks shenanigans at the 9th inning, I felt really good about the Rays getting the win tonight. So.
Yeah, they pulled it off. Got a comment here from Dylan. Need Morton to have a good outing tomorrow. That is for sure. So is it Morton Tanaka tomorrow? Is that the matchup?
Yeah, it's Morton Tanaka. I'm hoping, man. I've been really down on Morton all year. He hasn't really looked like 2019 Morton at all. And so I'm just hoping, get 3 or 4 good, strong innings from him. If he can give up 1 or 2 runs, that's fine. But just hopefully not more than 2 runs. So I'll be.
And then game 4, not to look too far ahead, like then where do we go? You're talking about Cole for sure for the Yankees, but
Yep.
I don't know if the Rays go Snell necessarily, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got a game tomorrow, game 3, to see what happens first, and then that will probably dictate pitching in the next.
Well, Shooter, what's interesting is that I wonder, the Yankees, I would think they would go Cole, but, it's only a 3 days rest at that point.
Yeah.
And do you want to save him for potential game 5? I mean, that's probably what they would want to do. So it'd be interesting to see what they go back with in game 4, because I would think they'd want to have Cole in the back pocket for the deciding game. I mean, obviously, if they're down for game 4, he'll pitch it, but we'll see.
Yeah, and then Dylan follows up with Yarbrough starting for the Rays possibly as following an opener. Okay, so we would go with the opener strategy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you kind of get the feeling like these two coaches don't like each other, right? So they're gonna pull all the everything they can out of the book of coaching. And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if game 4 the Rays do try to do something with some openers and switch it up a little bit. But we'll see. It's totally going to be different this year because you do have all these games being played consecutively. Pitchers can't keep pitching. Arms are going to fall off, get hurt, that kind of stuff. So it'll be cool to watch what happens. Amy says they were saying that Glasgow tipped his pitches by where his glove was raised to his face. So he must have had kind of that hand kind of up above the top. Next show, I need to get my glove out here in a ball like
do a demonstration.
Aresta Estradas to really get people off. Because I know that always, at least it always bothered the stash that he's like always.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how the Astros talk about Glasnow tipping pitches, and then everything comes out where they were basically cheating. So I don't know
Not
how much.
basically, they were.
I just don't know how much stock. I mean, yeah, he tipped some pitches, but it wasn't all of them. But he's done a better job this year. He's keeping people on their toes, and the curveball this year is a lot better, which has helped him tremendously. When he gets that curveball going, he's a hard pitcher to hit. But yeah, man, you can't give enough credit to Nick Anderson, though, man. He's been ice all year long. One of the best, relieving pitchers in baseball. Probably the best, I think. I'd have to look up his ERA, but I think he's only given like 1 or 2 runs all year long when he came in. So he had a nice 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down. That was huge. I really don't know what Fairbanks was doing in the 9th inning, but for those who are on Twitter saying, well, Cash needs to pull him, the rules change this year. You have to face 3 batters before you can get pulled. So he was only on his second batter after, 2 batters, 2 walks. He had to face 1 more. Luckily, he got the out versus the walk.
Wait, what is this rule?
Yeah, so this year, if you come in, you have to face 3 batters. You can't just face 1 batter and then come out. You have to face 3.
It's the pace of game.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep moving along. So
yeah, even though this game felt like an eternity, but yeah, you have to face 3 batters before you can be pulled. So I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, Cash, what are you doing? Pull him after he walked the second batter, but Cash couldn't pull him. He had to face that 3rd batter. But he pulled it off in the end. I never doubted him. So,
well, a stat that they showed
he's been good all year too.
A stat they showed up on TV they were talking about is after 7 innings, the Rays are 27-0 if they're leading.
Yeah.
After the 8th inning, I think it was 37-0. So they haven't lost a game after they're leading after 7 innings or the 8th inning. So.
Yeah, no, the bullpen and defense has been really good all year. I mean, Fairbanks put them on the ropes a little bit, but it's the mentality of a pitcher, man. You're gonna walk a batter, you got to come back and pitch a strike, and Fairbanks did that. After the 2 walks, he really got locked in, and
he seemed like he settled down once he got that strikeout.
Yeah, and that usually helps. Strikeouts usually help for pitchers. And you also just have to throw strikes. I mean, but that ump was kind of like all over the strike zone at night. I couldn't even tell what the strike zone was. I mean, so I did like how Karen Boone tried to pull a Cash and it bit him in the ass.
Yeah, I think that was the story of this game.
I think everybody liked that except for Mark.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand what they were doing. Makes no sense.
Are you saying you were upset about that move?
Yeah, I just didn't get it. I didn't understand the move. I didn't understand the point.
Are you against the opener, or are you just against the Yankees doing it because it didn't really?
No, I just don't. I mean, I'm not against the opener in principle. I just didn't understand why they would do it with Garcia in that spot. It just didn't make any sense to me. I don't know. And then to bring Happ in, I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well just start Happ if you want the lefty matchups. I know they were trying to get cute and do all these other things, but like I said, just play the game, man. Just play the game and see what happens.
Look, Aaron Boone is not I don't know, even the Yankees fans will even say this. He's not a good manager when it comes to that. Like, his teams win because they can hit the long ball, and if you can take that away from them, they're not going to beat you by getting base hits. And
The
scoring.
in-game strategy is not his strong suit. I would agree with that.
Cash is way better with this strategy.
We talked about earlier. If you can shut down Stanton and the Judge, you almost can guarantee a win if you can get them.
Well, they shut down Judge pretty well. They just didn't shut down Stanton. Had they shut down Stanton, I mean, it's probably like a 7-1 or 2 ball game.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so we used to send secret messages in this show to John Cooper, the coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, for our Lightning post game. So we need to send Cash a little kind of like some brain waves here, some radio airwaves here. Stop pitching to Stanton. Just
walk him.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you have to pitch to him. You can't walk him every time.
You can walk him.
You gotta trust your.
Sure, you can.
Yeah, but you gotta trust your pitchers, and I think he does.
Oh.
Like,
He's got a stable of guys that can throw
98. Period.
There you go.
Yeah. No.
Anyways,
by the way,
but
while we're talking, I ordered my hat. They are in stock, baby. The Tampa Bay 98ers. So go get them. Aced Out clothing with shipping. It came in under $30. So it's a custom hat, sort of. But
it looks like the old 76ers hat, really.
It does kind of have that old school like 90s like look to it.
Yeah.
Which I like because I was a child in the 90s. So
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
in high school.
Let's pivot to the some of it. Let's pivot to the next game. We talked about the pitching matchup. Do the Yankees make any changes to their other lineup, their batting order, and the rest of their players?
I don't really see it. I mean, if they do, it'll be like, they might change an outfielder. They might. Yeah, Clint Frazier, Hicks in center field. Them two are locks to probably stay in the order. So if anything's going to change, it's going to be Brett Gardner. I don't even think he was playing tonight.
No,
but that right fielder and probably maybe the catcher might be the only changes you really see. But everything else is pretty much. They're not going to make up too many changes to their lineup, where I think that's an advantage to the Rays because the Rays can do all sorts of things with their lineup.
Yeah,
they can have Choi at first base.
Out, right?
I don't know.
Got to be out. The guy who caught last night played pretty well offensively. So I don't know. Is Sanchez in there right now more for the defensive play?
Sanchez, I mean, he's a marginal defensive player. I mean, he didn't catch Cole last night because Cole likes to throw to Ishikawa, so basically he's always his personal catcher basically at this point.
Yeah.
That's why Sanchez wasn't playing last night. I suspect he'll probably play the games that Cole doesn't pitch. The others he won't. But that'll be it. So outside of that, I think he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. Gardner started in game 1. Maybe there'll be a tweak there, but yeah, I mean, to Chris's point, nothing dramatic's going to change at this stage of the game for the Yankees. They are what they are, and that's pretty much it. So,
yeah, and I just think they're pretty much locked in for the most part, and the Rays can do a lot more. We haven't seen Brasso this series, so he can come in tomorrow night. Perez will probably catch tomorrow night, probably the next 2 nights, and he's pretty good offensively. Although Zunino in the playoffs has come up with 2 home runs, which I like to see. Yanni probably goes back to third.
A stat that they threw out about Zunino, he's had 14 hits the whole season, including the postseason, and 6 of them were home runs. 2 of them in the postseason. So,
yeah, and he's got I think 3 of those home runs out of the 6 came against the Yankees.
Yep.
Great.
So,
Keep him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only knock with Zunino is he lets too many pass balls by him, and it kind of irritates me really bad.
But he didn't do too bad on that tonight.
No, he didn't. But it's just like if someone gets on first and you let a pitch go by you, you got a guy in scoring position, and it just drives me crazy. I don't like. I like for teams to earn their runs against us and not just be handed free, bases. So
He got lucky on a strikeout one where it actually hit the wall, it passed by him, and it hit the wall and rolled back to him, and he was able to get the strikeout and throw him out at first base.
But with Perez too, although the Yankees aren't going to likely try because they don't have speed, so I don't think that really matters to Cash. But Perez will throw a runner out a lot better than Zunino.
That was something that shocked me in tonight's game because the Rays are known for stealing bases. We had one stolen base tonight. I mean, there was not many base runners for either teams. It was home runs and home runs and home runs. That's been this whole series, has been home run after home run after home run.
But when Randy was on first base against Ovaltino or whatever his name is,
Ottavino,
he had Ovaltino, paying a lot more attention to Randy than he did the batter, and he ended up, throwing a pass ball which let him get to second, and then Kiermaier throws or he gets a nice single, and he's just too fast. He's gonna. Hey, someone else is getting pulled over.
I was like, are you a firefighter all of a sudden? Now it's all red.
No, not me.
Everyone drive safely tonight.
Yeah. Including the stash.
Yes.
Hey, man, they're out tonight. The cops aren't usually out this bad.
Oh, that's not good news for the stash.
Well, no, Chris, where do you live?
Maryland. I'm driving back from DC though, so.
Yeah, so there's always cops out there and traffic.
Yeah,
all right, so the Yankees put out 6 pitchers tonight. Is that going to hurt them moving forward, or do they have that pitching depth where they don't have to worry?
Yeah, they'll be fine.
They don't have the pitching depth the Rays do, and I think that's going to be the deciding factor in the series.
If it goes long, it will. If it goes long, that might come in effect, especially with the 3-batter rule this season. You can't put a pitcher in just to pitch one person and then take them out. So if they go another 6 pitchers again tomorrow, then if this goes any longer than five games, then or it goes longer than 4, then they can have an issue there.
Yeah, but you guys
for quite a while. I think they're going to leave him in regardless. I think he'll pitch probably unless he actually melts down. He's going to probably pitch 5 or 6 innings. And the good news for the Yankees is they still have Britton and Chapman who haven't pitched. Well, Britton pitched a little bit the other night, but Chapman hasn't pitched at all. So if it gets on a late inning, those guys are fresh and ready to go. So hopefully, if you're Yankees fan, that's where you want to be. We'll see.
Yeah, but Chapman's like a 15 to 20 pitch guy. I mean, he's not going to go super long. But like you said, I mean, you guys already mentioned it. If they're already considering putting Cole in for Game 4, where the Rays have a lot more options.
Yeah, it depends. If it's Rays 2-1, they'll have to do it. If it's Yankees 2-1, they won't. That's pretty much what it'll be.
Well, if the Rays win tomorrow night, I see Cole pitching Game 4.
Correct.
And it could be, I don't know, on 3 days rest, it's kind of a gamble.
He's a horse, though, man. That guy's a horse. So he'll be good. But
but he's a home run machine too especially against the Rays.
He hasn't been in his career. He's actually been very stingy with the home run. But this year, man, with us, a lot of home runs this year. It's very uncharacteristic. But
we'll see. It'll be an interesting series. I expected it's going to be a hard-fought series. These are 2 good teams, and the Rays kind of gave them all they can handle in the regular season. They went 8-2 against the Yankees in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Which
the
is the
playoffs,
difference
you know?
between first place and second place. This is what made the Rays the home team and the number one seed was 7 games. So had it been the other way around, the Yankees would have been number one.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you got to take care of business. They took care of the, pretty much their entire division. I think the Orioles gave them a little bit of fits, but they still had a good record against them.
Yeah, and I think we all can agree that we enjoyed seeing how bad the Red Sox were this year.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed that.
There is
I
comedy.
enjoyed it.
Yes, we love to see Boston lose, all of us. All right, so let's go around the horn one more time here, and we'll get out there. Last call, if anyone wants to call in, the StreamYard link is there. But why don't you give us, we'll start with Romano, just kind of first thoughts on what are the keys to the game tomorrow? What do the Yankees have to do to beat the Rays in this pivotal? This is probably the most important game of the series coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, they need a good pitching performance out of Tanaka for sure. Like we were saying earlier, if he goes out early, you get into the bullpen early, it's not good for the Yankees. I think they'll be good, but that's going to be the key. I think the Yankees will hit. They always do for the most part. They're gonna score their 4, 5, 6 runs probably, but if Tanaka doesn't pitch well, it's going to be a long night. So he must pitch a good game, give them some length, and I think the Yankees will be in good shape.
I like that. Schooley, how are the Rays going to beat the Yankees tomorrow?
Well, I agree. I think tomorrow sets the tone. I think tomorrow could be a buzzkill for one of the two teams. And I gotta say, I think the Yankees' best chance was going 2-0 tonight. I think by letting the Rays get in there, I think that's just gonna give the Rays momentum, and I don't see them losing tomorrow. I think they'll get to Tanaka early and often, and then it's going to be a deep run into the Yankees bullpen, or Boone's going to get stuck and have to leave him out there so he doesn't screw up the rest of the games.
Yeah, which I think he will if he has to.
Yeah, I mean, Boone's an ass. So, and then if it gets out of control, expect it to get ugly. These two teams hate each other. They absolutely hate each other. There's been several articles about them staying in the same hotel, and they're trying to avoid each other and everything else. They cannot stand each other. They never have. And so I think if it's a lopsided game tomorrow, it turns into a hockey fight.
I'm here for it. Chris, you're filling in for the stash. No pressure right here. The stash would give us probably a 15-minute answer here. Please don't do that. What is going to happen tomorrow? What is the key for the Rays to win this game?
Yeah, the key for the Rays to win tomorrow is just they got to keep their offense hot. It's been pretty good the past few nights. You can't just go out there and not hit the baseball because you're not going to beat the Yankees. And the Rays have been known to do that, where they get hot for a few games and then they cool off for a game. You can't do that in the playoffs. There's no cooling off. You have to, keep your offense going. And if they do that, and I believe, what Thomas said, I think they can get to Tanaka early. They have done it before. They're not really, he's not a pitcher that the Rays are scared of. And I think the Rays have more of an advantage. They can mess with the lineup a lot more than what the Yankees can. And I just think that's more advantageous for the Rays than it is the Yankees. They can go an all lefty lineup if they want to against Tanaka, or an all right. You know what I mean? They just have a lot more options, and like I said, I think that's going to be the biggest advantage the Rays have in this series, and probably moving forward. And then Morton, I said earlier, he's got to pitch well. He hasn't looked like 2019 Morton. He might, only go 4 innings, and then they're going to have to go to the bullpen early, which is fine. I don't mind that. If he can give you 4 solid innings with only giving up a run or 2, then the Rays are in good shape, and they can call it the Staples, and the Staples will lock it down the rest of the night.
I like that. Amy says, Willie Adames, Lowe, and KK need to step it up tomorrow. I agree with that. I think, I go by the personal philosophy of dumbing it down and keeping it simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Well,
And,
Lau has been MIA from the playoffs for the Rays, so Lau really needs to get a hit, and I think that will start his. As Meadows did today, I think that could be the starter for Meadows also.
But I think Lau, he had a pretty good series against the Blue Jays last week, if I'm mistaken. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but he's disappeared against the Yankees.
Yeah, and I think he'll come back. He usually hits well against Tanaka too. But I expect tomorrow night, be on the lookout for this. I expect tomorrow night Kevin Cash to be more aggressive with base runners. When he gets base runners, I expect them to be more aggressive tomorrow night. And probably
It's getting them.
Yeah,
getting the base runners is the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had them. They've had base runners. I just don't think they've.
They just hit home run. Yeah, you don't have to run. They hit home run.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I expect they'll get base runners and Cash will be more aggressive. The Yankees have expected it the first 2 games and they haven't really done it. So I think, they'll kind of catch them off guard tomorrow night. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think they'll have at least two stolen bases tomorrow night.
At least 2. They're going to double it up tomorrow night. And
two's a lot.
I don't want them to steal any bases because the Rays are. I always feel like when I watch the Rays, they always get stuck in a horrible base running snafu.
They're the best. They're the best team in baseball in stolen bases this year.
Are they? Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
They had like
50
stolen bases or something crazy like that.
No, I will stick with KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Stop pitching to Giancarlo Stanton. Stop it. You're not giving it. And then, the Rays have struggled against Tanaka in the past, but not this year. So I want them to continue with the bats, and I want to see my guy Meadows kind of build off that big home run that he hit tonight and have a good game. And Randy, just keep it going, Randy. Keep it going. So keep those bats alive. I agree with Chris. 100% know what you're going to get with Morton this year. So fingers crossed that, he can, stretch it to 5 or 6 innings. But I like the Rays' chances. It is going to come down to those 2 pitchers, though, I think at the end of the day tomorrow. And by the way, Mr. Mark Romano told me that the game tomorrow does start a little bit earlier. Is it 7 or 7:30?
7:10, I think. First pitch.
7:10, first pitch. So we'll be a little bit earlier. I don't know if we're going to jump on again tomorrow night, but I think as long as I have a pulse and somebody will jump on with me, I will start up the stream. So for anyone that is a first-time listener, we'd like to reward the chatters for giving us some smart comments, letting us know about, maybe some stats that we were trying to pull up but couldn't because we're, talking, or make us laugh. Any one of those will get you one of the 3 stars of the chat. I'm going to go with 1 tonight because it's been pretty quiet, and we brought this one up earlier. Amy, longtime commenter, you need a defibrillator on standby as the Rays fan. That is what you needed in that 9th inning tonight, but the Rays pulled it off. So thank you, Amy, for that great comment and several of these other great comments tonight. And for anyone else that's listening for the first time, make sure you throw us a follow, and then you'll know when we go live next. We're pretty sporadic with things lately. And keep in mind, you can join the show just like Chris from your car, preferably not from your car. Maybe wait till you get to your destination. This guy's busy. All right, anything else you guys want to get out there into the universe before this game?
I want to get the update on Stash. That's what I want. I want to see what's going on there.
We're gonna get the whole story from Stash tomorrow and why he didn't join.
Where was the watch party?
At Average Joe's down in Largo area? Yeah. I was going to go with him, but I didn't know if I'd be able to kind of launch the stream and everything. So we haven't really had a chance to kind of test doing it on location. So we'll try to change it up a little bit every once in a while.
Quick stat that points out today: the Rays only strike down 6 times. So they continue that. The series is theirs.
Yeah, we struck out very much. 18.
Yeah.
They have a postseason record with striking out 18 batters tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, quite the pitching performance, and Glasnow led the way with 10 of those Ks. So he had quite the game. Just don't let him face Stanton. I love how they kept mentioning on the broadcast, like, if you're a pitcher, you always remember the guy that hits the furthest home run off.
Yeah.
and
then he was like Bo Jackson.
Yeah. And Glasnow is certainly going to remember that one, because I don't think anyone's probably hit one further than that. They said it was 460 something, but man, he freaking launched that thing.
With Glasnow, he always has, like, it seems like almost every game he has like this one guy who just hits them really well, but the rest of the team won't. And tonight it was just Stanton. Stanton had Glasnow's number, but he still threw 10 Ks and had a really good performance. You'd like to see like maybe 2 runs given up, not 4, but it is what it is, man. They won. When you win, you win. Doesn't matter how, right?
And the Astros have a 2-0 series lead, so that would be whoever the winner. If that continues that series, that's whoever wins this series would face Nut.
Yeah, I'd like to see. The Lightning got their redemption against Columbus. I want the Rays to get redemption against Houston.
Yep.
It needs to happen.
Too. I'd like to get some redemption from Houston. They knocked us out twice in the playoffs, so I'd like to get a chance to keep them also.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Mark.
No.
This is Tampa Bay's year.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, we will be back, if not tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. You got to follow Shooter and Stash to really figure out if you really like this show when we're going to be live. I'll give you a heads up. But find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever. But we appreciate you. One last comment here from Jim. A hangover from the Lightning post-game shows. Rays win with death by 1,000 cuts, bro. Oh, that was the quote from the game that I do remember. The commentators were talking about how the Rays can beat you, and one of the commentators said that the Rays can win by 1,000 cuts. So another, hey, if there's one thing we get from this 2020 season, we get a lot of cool quotes about the Rays, if not anything else. And
they just
what were you saying?
They just need to get the players' names right.
I know, right? That's the problem with Tampa sports is nobody can figure out like who a player. It's an ongoing thing.
Tom Brady.
Definitely, yeah. Now people know the bug, at least. But definitely join us tomorrow. Until then, go Rays. This has been the 98ers.
Period.